I don't know what Leon's excuse is.
I think he was playing along.
I'd say it was on purpose, but I'd be lying. I think I just accidentally hit it.
Fell victim to one of my classic blunders.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am.
Time out. I like the other one. Can we go? Hello, everybody. Oh shit! Let's do that. I like that.
Hello, everybody, and oh shit! It's the BREWDCAST. I am, as always, Bud Robinson. This is tonight with
Pretty
us,
accurate.
Leon Robinson. Say hi, Leon.
Hi, Leon.
Nailed it. And also with us is the town. Who fucked with me by accident, and Leon, who fucked with me on purpose.
It looked like Leon, the way he was moving his,
you fucker.
the way Leon was moving his mouth, it looked like he was giving the Invisible Man a blowjob.
No.
Just throwing it out there, Leon.
Nope. Swing and miss, town.
I don't know how I feel about that. We have
Here, I have a hot take.
Oh shit! Like we have a giant bowl of things to talk about. You have okay. Just go ahead. Just do the hot take.
Collision sucks and Dynamite is good.
Okay.
That's my hot take.
Does that mean I don't have to watch it anymore?
Collision is. I don't know. I watched it on Saturday and I tried to like it and I was just like, eh. Then I watched Dynamite tonight and I was like, oh. Those are my two different sounds. So
it's true.
I thought Collision sucked. I mean, it wasn't like the worst thing, but it was just. I think the biggest issue I have is that Collision is based all around CM Punk, and Dynamite has a tendency to be a little more balanced. And if Dynamite is focused around a person, it's MJF. And MJF is a lot better than CM Punk.
And even then, it's not entirely focused on MJF. Like, even when he's dominating the show, it's like 2 segments, 3 segments, like tonight.
Collision almost feels like post-Attitude Raw.
Yeah. Oh, post-Attitude Raw.
Yeah, like after Attitude.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like John Cena's there and the whole focal point is him.
And he's
That's
John
the vibe I
Cena.
get.
You are right. You are totally right. Yes. I was about to say, you're not going to like this take and it's not going to surprise you at all, but it's the CM Punk show and I'm not here for that. But then you said it for me and I didn't have to.
Just the difference in the quality of matches and the difference in like the level of being interested. And I think a part of it is I think one of the biggest things when Dynamite started was that the reason that I gravitated to it is because it was so different.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at Collision and it's like, okay, but this isn't different. This is the professional wrestling I was getting on Raw like 10 years ago. There's nothing groundbreaking. There's nothing new. There's nothing exciting. And if you like Collision, cool. I mean, it's not unwatchable.
It's
not.
I think it's a good show. It's just not.
It's fine.
It's not my thing because I don't like CM Punk, and I think the stuff that they're putting on is not all of it, but like a lot of it is just stuff that I'm not interested in.
Collision's really hard for me to like sit through.
I
like when I watch Collision, it's like I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. When I watch Dynamite, it's like I could sit there and just watch Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
It's two completely different things, and they feel like two completely different shows. One of them feels like AEW, which is Dynamite, and the other one feels like a fucking pretty solid WWE show.
Like WWE if it was good.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. But that's why like a lot of WWE fans are talking about how much they like Collision. Oh, it's a much better show. Yeah, because it's more used to the realms that you're used to.
It's more story driven.
And it's not. I don't like the flow of it. There's a lot of lulls. I don't know what it is specifically, but it's like I watch it and I kind of go, and then I watch Dynamite and it's like, holy fuck, that was amazing. Maybe it's Orange Cassidy. Maybe it's just Orange Cassidy's on Dynamite. I don't know.
They have my favorite wrestlers on Dynamite. Eddie
They
Kingston.
do. The guys,
Orange
but the guys I
Cassidy,
like better tend to be
MJF,
on Dynamite.
Adam Cole. Yeah, like Kenny
I
Omega.
think before we jump into the reviews of the show, because the show tonight was absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We should hit on the CM Punk thing and the fact that he is apparently throwing his weight around backstage. He got into an altercation with Jungle Boy. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know about that. So I pieced together a little bit of a timeline. Can I like go over it and like if y'all have different things that I'm missing?
Yeah, let's hear it because we have to talk about it.
So
go ahead.
Of course. So it's my understanding that Punk was. So there was the bit where Punk went off script after the show last Saturday. It went poorly. He went into business on his he went into business for himself, talking about Paige. He recognized it wasn't any good. It wasn't a good thing to do. He apologized to Paige. However, that also surfaced the fact that Paige was redirected away from Collision because he was supposed to shoot a bit. And they sent him away. There are sources
The ambulance bed from tonight.
Yes,
that's what he was supposed to shoot,
which I missed. From what I'm understanding, people were taking those two things as linked. They're actually not. They just happened to relocate. I kind of get the sense that maybe Paige wanted to relocate, but that's neither here nor there. I haven't heard anything to that effect. And on top of that, like we now have more rumors, or not rumors, but like confirmed. Things, three in particular, people who this have happened to. Nick Nemeth, who sent out a tweet that Punk didn't like. Punk confronted him about it. It seemed like it was water under the bridge.
That one to me is if you're gonna call somebody soft on Twitter and you see him in person, you better be fucking ready.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
So,
but there's the Nick Nemeth thing, and then Punk seemed like upset about the fact that Nick Nemeth never came and talked to Punk, like he was saying hello to a bunch of people, but not CM Punk and his crew. So ever since then, he's a Dynamite guy. So. Yeah. And then Daniels, from my understanding, there was Christopher Daniels, who, from my understanding, is like. CM Punk is upset that Ace Steel can't be backstage, and so he said that Christopher Daniels can't be backstage because he was on the side of the Elite. He was also
part of the pull apart.
Yes.
Well, he was also part of the pull apart at Brawl Out. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that part. I just assumed he was on their side.
That's the reason why he's making us think about it is because he was part of the pull apart just like Ace was, and Ace isn't allowed to be backstage, but. Daniels is, and he's not liking that.
Did Daniels bite somebody's arm?
I was just going to say that. Daniels did bite a bunch of people. And the third individual was Matt Hardy. I couldn't really find any reason.
That one's not confirmed.
Why?
That one's not confirmed.
Okay. I mean...
so the first episode of Collision, Jungle Boy wanted to do a stunt with a car where he would get hit by a car and go through a real glass window.
Yeah.
And Punk told them, we don't do that here. And so that one got blown out of proportion, and it was really just Punk saying, hey, that's not safe, we're going to be safe. Yeah. That's all it was.
And from my understanding...
he just wanted them to use sugar glass instead of real glass.
And from what I read, he wanted to do that so he could have the next week off for some, like he had a thing or something, but he wasn't able to do that.
I think he was off anyways. The Punk calling out Hangman, I think it's CM Punk's mind. We rag on Jeff Jarrett for being a carny. I've got some great Jeff Jarrett things tonight too. We'll get to that. Okay. But we rag on him for being a carny. CM Punk's fucking carny.
Yeah.
And he's trying to work into a feud with the Elite because he knows it's going to make fucking money, and that's what he wants to do. And those guys don't want to work with him, and they are from two completely different eras of professional wrestling. I don't care what you say. These guys are younger than Punk. They came up at a different time than Punk did, and they don't see this shit the same way.
That's a really great point, because I like reading some of these stories. It sounded like Punk was trying to get, like, it seems very much like Punk wants to get in the same room as Paige and the Elite, and they just don't want any of it. And so it's very much like they don't want to deal with him, and he's like trying to force the issue. Yep. And I will tell Punk, if you're watching this show, because I'm sure you are, I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell my kid. You can ask them once. If they say no, you can ask them one more time to make sure, and then you're done. Be done with it.
The other thing that I read that there's a lot of people that are pissed off. I think the Dynamite crew is more pissed off than the Rampage crew, or not the Rampage, pardon me, the Collision crew. Is that when CM Punk came back, Tony Khan was sitting backstage chanting along with the crowd. And it just makes me go, oh, dude,
it's not a good look, is it?
Come on.
As somebody on the internet pointed out, Tony does a lot of goofy shit. He fanboys a lot. Like, if you watch some of those like overruns from before Punk, where like Tony would come out and like do stuff with the Elite, like he was always fucking crazy. Or the bit that they did on Dynamite tonight, like that's fucking goofy. Cool. Like that's just. But I agree. Like it's not. It's super not a good look. It's not. I think
this goes back. This goes back to. You have a veteran guy who knows how to manipulate. That's CM Punk. He knows how to manipulate. Not that the Elite don't, because they also know how to manipulate. You have a boss that's very easy to manipulate, and you keep manipulating him. And Punk right now, no, Punk has him in his palm and knows he can do what he wants to do. That's what this is. So my issue is I don't want to talk about it anymore because it's like whatever. But Tony Khan needs to step up and be like, okay, we're not fucking doing this.
I think you're giving. I don't know, like that. There's a part of me that thinks I think you're giving Punk too much credit, because I think he is manipulative, but I don't think that's why Tony Khan is acting in the way that he is. I think he's acting in the way that he is because he knows that Punk will bring him money. He knows that TNT and TBS are big on Punk, and perhaps most importantly, he's a huge fan for Punk. And my opinion, you just gotta let that shit go, man. Like, this is a business, and if he's gonna be the one to kill your business, guess what?
Has anybody looked at the ratings for Collision?
No.
They're dog shit. They're barely breaking 600,000.
Good gob.
So, like, you tell me, and I get it's a Saturday night, but if it's August and there's nothing going on and you're pulling 600,000, what's gonna happen in a month? When you have to go up against like Alabama against LSU, or is anybody going to watch? You're going to get 200,000 people. Mm-hmm. Because right now, I can tell you, I love college football. If I have to pick between watching Bama and LSU or Collision, I'm watching the football game. I just am. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's. I missed Collision 2 weeks in a row. I've never missed Dynamite. I missed Collision 2 weeks in a row, and it's like I sort of tried to watch it, then I was like, okay, whatever, I'm done. It doesn't matter.
I did the same thing. Yeah, until I binged it today.
It's a fine show, but it's not. It doesn't feel like AEW to me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. There's some really good people on there. There's people I want to see, like Miro, and like the. I love what they're doing with the. With Malachi's group. I love that, and I love what they're doing with Mr. Ass and those guys. Like, that's really good, but then at the same time, it's like, if you're going to put CM Punk against Samoa Joe on that pay-per-view, I love Samoa Joe. Mm-hmm. And I love.
Which they still haven't even actually announced as a.
I love both those guys. Yeah, but I love both those guys, and they're both good, and I'm not knocking them, but you tell me that match matters more than any other match that I've heard from that show yet. There isn't a single match to me that isn't more important than that match. That match has it's historical, and it's ROH. It's an ROH fanboy match, and that's great, and that's awesome, and I love it. But it's like, I don't. If you pulled that match from the card, I wouldn't give a fuck. CM Punk means nothing to this pay-per-view to me, and I think that. You're cannibalizing that show.
It's kind of like when the mid '80s WWF expansion happened, in that they stopped putting individual wrestlers on the marquee and they just put WWF on the marquee. And that's kind of what happened over at Wembley. They put AEW on the marquee, and it was almost sold out before they even announced a single match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the build for this, I'm just looking at the build. The build for Punk Joe sucks. And granted, you have all the backstory and you have all the shit from before.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, just that Punk hasn't even fucking acknowledged it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and nothing about that match was
is
making me want to watch it.
Like, has anybody read anything? Does he want something else going on there, or like what the fuck?
Well,
or are they waiting
another week?
Or are they waiting to ratchet it up, or because it's been pretty much Joe laid out the challenge. Punk hasn't really. Has he even acknowledged it?
No.
And then
he got choked out last week, and that was pretty much.
And then Joe was like, okay, if he's not gonna answer me, I'm gonna fucking what do you say? I'm gonna convince him.
Mm-hmm.
And he went and choked him out. It's a good moment. I enjoyed it.
But that's a moment that if you were gonna make this a huge match, that's a moment you would have had 3 weeks ago.
The problem you have though is your crowd isn't responding the way you want them to. And I get it. They don't respond the way they're supposed to for MJF, the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
But MJF is smart enough to. Not that Punk's not smart because he is, but like MJF, Adam Cole. We'll talk about that later. But like that, the build for that. Holy fuck!
They leaned into it hard.
And then you look at Punk, and it's just like I'm the real world champ, da 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 da, and it's just like. I don't think I care. I don't think I care.
That whole like real world championship just like makes me cringe because it feels like something I would hear from someone who
done so many fucking times.
Yeah.
Like Punk himself has done it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's maybe he's trying to retell the storyline he should have told in WWE when he left after Money in the Bank or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that was all of one pay-per-view cycle. He was back.
Mm-hmm.
Cena, or what was it? Mysterio won it. Cena took it from him that night, and then Punk showed up, and then they reunified it at the very next. Right?
What a baby face! What a fucking baby face! That's
Mysterio to Cena to Punk. Yeah,
that's what this
fucking heel is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this feels like, though. CM Punk feels like John Cena.
He does.
And now he's lost. Granted, he's lost. But when
he has become your Yankees.
It's just I don't I'm not vibing on it. I'm not vibing on it. It's just not it's not connecting with me at all. And I'm trying because like I said, there's people on that show I like, there's things on that show I like. But like that main event on Saturday was fine. But I didn't care. Like, I did not care about that main event. Like, it was so freaking hard for me to stay focused on that main event. Because it was just like, okay, cool, whatever.
But it's also like you can kind of see what we
I
already
think more
saw
than
what they were
anything, I was
doing.
planting the seeds for a Punk Black feud.
Yeah.
You know what, though?
Which I would be okay
when
with.
I watched
the action, when those two got in the ring and faced off and then did the fucking sit down, like.
Yeah, but that's something new. Let's do that. It's just, they're banking so much on Punk and his star power, and I don't think he has the star power they think he has. He's got huge star power, but I don't think he has the star power they think he has.
I think he does. I just think that it's a lot of the fan base for AEW has kind of turned on him because while a lot of those people, us included, were obviously big him fans back in the day, they had more in his absence. They had obviously became fans of Kenny, fans of the Bucks,
mm-hmm.
fans of Hangman, that kind of thing, and it's a lot of splitting of allegiances here. Like, I still enjoy all the other guys from the Elite and everything. It's just I'm not as big a fan of the Bucks as I am a fucking Punk because I actually enjoy what he does on the mic and that kind of stuff, as opposed to them where it's I have a little bit of a hard time with it because a lot of his shtick is doing, excuse me, pronouns, pal. Punk's shtick is a lot of inside baseball type stuff and everything too, which most of the time I enjoy when he does it. But the thing that I've talked about with the Bucks and everything is it's so much of that tongue-in-cheek inside baseball thing that it's like them and their fans, like the fans feel like, excuse me, the fans really enjoy feeling like they're in on the joke, they're in on the bit with them, excuse me, with the Bucks and with the Elite. Whereas I don't know, like it's something about the way they go about it as opposed to the way that Punk does it. The way they do it doesn't usually doesn't land for me, as opposed to with him, it usually does. I'm not exactly sure why that is or how they do it differently that makes it land differently for me, but
you make a very good point.
I've been rambling. I'm going to shut up now.
You know what, though, Leon? I'm going to cut you off because I think one of the biggest things, and then I'm going to quick statement, then I'm going to pass it to you. But one of the big things is I think with Punk is in 2011 with him, 2011, 2012, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, 2011.
When he cut that pipe bomb promo, and we went on that ride with. That's another reason because you were there, so your connection with him is a little stronger. So it makes perfect sense. But like those WWE fans that were so disgruntled, we went on that fucking ride with him.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing.
He was our guy.
I apologize to cut you back off. Like I was a lapsed fan at that point. Like I was.
Yeah, we all were. So was I.
I was barely paying attention, but I mean, the was around and all that fun stuff, and it was a boring ass fucking Monday.
Call it, please. Don't say that. Cut that out. I don't do that on there. Come after us.
I'm gonna beep all of it.
At the pool I was working, I'm sitting there scrolling fucking, and I see his fucking tweet is burned into my memory. His tweet was, "I'm in full on. What are they gonna do? Fire me mode." I was like, "All right, fuck. I need to go to Raw tonight." Because when I woke up that morning, I had zero intention of going to wrestling. I didn't want to go to Raw. I was just gonna go to work. I was gonna go home. Whatever. But I saw that. I'm like, fuck. Okay, I'm gonna go see what kind of ticket I can grab after work and go. I didn't even realize it was a double show that day, but that one tweet talked me into the building, and boy, am I glad it did.
I think it has created a tribalism effect, though, because like you are either. It's like they split their audience, and the shows are so different. But
yeah, in a way,
I don't know. I don't. You probably like Collision better, Leon.
I'm gonna be honest. Both shows could benefit from being a little bit more like the other one. Like I'm not saying I want them to be the same. I'm saying they're like we've discussed. I think Dynamite could be a little bit more of the story, a little bit more of the sports entertainment thing, just a little bit. While at the same time, Collision could absolutely be kicked a few more notches over in the pro wrestling direction. So
it's an interesting take.
When I think you make a very good point. You make several very good points. Well done, Leon. I think like when I see an ROH match on Dynamite, it's more interesting because it like changes the feel of the show a little bit. So I think you're absolutely right. I think if we had that, like
that makes sense.
This little bit of Collision on Dynamite and vice versa, it spices up the show a little bit. I've thought this before. I don't know if I've ever vocalized it on this podcast, but I feel like in a lot of ways, and at least my experience with CM Punk has been like CM Punk was like the window into ROH and the indie wrestling scene and all of that stuff. Like he was the guy who made me go, oh shit, maybe I should be paying attention to it. And so I went on the ride with him, and then he left and I left, and I'm like, wait a second, there's different wrestling. And I started checking out NJPW and ROH and PWG, and like I really got into that stuff. So like when you say that Leon, when you say that you don't like the Bucks speaking inside baseball in the same way that CM Punk does, I totally get that, because like there are like CM Punk and the Bucks do that. Like they speak inside wrestling. There are other guys who do it, and then there are guys who I like that do it more. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that like you have CM Punk in WWE. He was so exciting because he was doing something that was brand new to us, and now we have AEW, and you have all of these guys who do little things that like CM Punk does, but I might like the way he does it better, or I might like the way that Saraya does. Not Saraya. That's not a great example, but you get what I'm saying.
Love it. Best example ever.
Me too. Yeah. I just kind of, as you were talking there, I just kind of think I came up with part of the reason why I like one as opposed to the other. I think, or maybe why when the Bucks do it that it irks me is when they do it. It's with that big old grin and a wink, like you guys are in it with us, guys. You get the joke.
I get it. Yeah.
But when Punk does it, he's fucking scowling and still making it real, I guess. If that makes any sense, I don't know.
Punk, I
it
think
was just
Punk
a thought
is
I had
talking
as
about,
you were talking about it.
When Punk does that, he's talking about the business. When the Bucks are doing it, they're doing it kind of tongue in cheek.
Yep.
Do you think that's an accurate summary?
Firmly 100% tongue in cheek. Yeah,
I've never been crazy about the Bucks promo, so I get that.
Well, even in their matches too, where they're like, I'm struggling for a specific example right now. Like naming that one finisher or signature move, the Meltzer driver, and that kind of shit. It is
a little cringy.
I love it though.
Yeah,
but it's funny.
Like I get it. It's funny, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, okay.
Do you have to bring him up during the show? I'm gonna listen to his podcast later. Don't talk about him now.
In the middle, in the middle of all of this, though, is we're in the middle of this great elite Punk feud, and they're having this battle for like AEW's soul and who's going to do better, and da 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 da. And the only thing that's happened out of this is they've all been surpassed by MJF. Like it's not even fucking funny.
You're not wrong.
No,
You're
like
not
MJF.
wrong.
I don't give a fuck about Punk. I don't give a fuck about the elite. I mean, I do. I care about them all. But like MJF, kind of that dude. And that's what's come out of this. He's the one that's just kind of going out there and doing his thing, or is he too tongue-in-cheek for you too, Leon?
I think we know the answer to that. Particularly with his latest run. Like it's been entertaining, but dear God, from the fucking the first time he said double clothesline to the whole thing with slamming Big Bill, and it's just like he's just
the only thing I care about right now, Leon, is the fucking
he's gonna
kangaroo
put a
kick.
hole in his cheek with his fucking tongue.
I only want the kangaroo kick. I don't give two shits about anything. And it's there. That man, everything he touches turns to gold. He gets the crowd in the palm of his hands. He elicits every response he wants. His matches are all good. Bud, go ahead.
Do you know why the double clothesline is so genius? Because they're holding hands. They're doing a wrestling match, and they're holding hands. It makes them such better friends. I figured that out today. I'm like, oh my god, they're holding hands.
Fuck.
I was like, now I'm on board with the double clothesline.
Let's move past CM Punk. Let's talk about Dynamite.
Let's talk about MJF and Adam Cole.
Let's talk about Dynamite. I don't want to talk about Collision. Fuck Collision. Let's talk about Dynamite.
I feel like there was one match that I wanted to talk about in Collision. Hold on.
We'll do it.
Just time out real quick. No, I lied.
Yeah, there was something
like Diamante and Mercedes versus Willow and Chris was an awesome match, but
anytime Willow's on screen, I am happy.
Yeah. Willow's awesome. Willow's awesome. What's starting to piss me off is that you've got some really talented workers that are just kind of getting shoved away in weird spots that aren't doing anything, like Diamante. Yeah. And then you have, like, no offense to the Bunny, because I think the Bunny's great. I don't think the Bunny's great in the ring. And that match tonight that she had with Britt Baker was the drizzling shits.
I disagree with you there, but I understand what you're saying.
It wasn't good.
Like, I think like Willow Nightingale might have been a better opponent for Britt, or even Diamante.
So many of them don't get any airtime.
Yeah.
They don't get any.
Well, you don't have. on Dynamite, you have the Outcast.
Mm-hmm.
You have Britt.
And not even really
okay.
Britt. Like Britt has been
What else?
Britt has been really, really low key lately. So like you have
You've got Sheeta's on there.
yeah,
Okay, and
who they're
Sheeta's
bringing
great.
up.
And then you have a bunch of other people. Like, you don't have anybody else. And then you have these people on Collision that are like these women that are really fucking good workers, but they don't ever want to do anything with them because they're just going to sit over on Collision. They're not going to get it. It just feels. It feels like that whole division spinning its wheels.
I agree.
My hope is that the match at the pay-per-view is really good.
I read somewhere that
Does Stat have a match at the pay-per-view yet?
I don't think so. No,
Damn.
she'll probably be at All Out,
Yeah.
which is.
I think it'll
stupid,
be. I think it'll be one of the opening in the.
Oh, maybe yeah.
0 hour.
0 hour.
Is there anything we want to talk about from Collision?
No, we did. Like
They had a main
station.
event. It was stupid.
I mean, it wasn't.
What-
I didn't hate it, but like
It
it
was
didn't tell.
fine.
Like those two teams together, awesome, great. I think it was a setup, like Leon said, that it's a setup
Yep.
for Punk versus Malachi,
Planting seeds, baby.
which give me
Long-term storytelling.
all
I'm
my
really, I'm really struggling because when Punk left, but you were very adamant that he shouldn't come back,
Mhm.
and you put the blame on him. More of the blame. And I was always one that said it was 50-50, and I still think it's 50-50. And I'm like, he needs to come back, and now he's back, and I'm sitting here like, now what? That's just how I feel. It's like constant. It's like, now what? When is the moment where he does something that's like, whoa, that's awesome? Because I'm not getting that out of him.
I think that's my big problem right now is that he's just not like. Maybe it's just my brain. Like I have all of these great expectations of him because he's so good at breaking the fourth wall and like blurring the line between reality and fiction, that I'm like expecting this gigantic, amazing thing that at some point it's gonna flip and I'll be like, holy shit, this has been in the works for 5
That's
years.
what we've been promised. That's what we've been fucking promised. We're not getting it. His AEW run has been real odd. Like we've had some really solid moments, but you know he got hurt and then the brawl out and shit. It's just like we've never had. His shit with MJF was amazing.
It's MJF.
But other than that, there hasn't really been like a moment for him where it's been like, wow.
I think they're kind of working towards back around towards him going full on heel.
You know,
that would be good.
But they're taking their time.
They really
on it,
are.
though.
I
They're not doing it.
I want to
they're
believe
not doing
you,
it
Leon.
tomorrow.
I really want to believe you, Leon. But like,
The only problem I have with it is why the fuck they turned Ricky Starks heel
yeah,
to work with him.
Yeah, that one was fucking weird.
Starks
that didn't
was-
make any damn sense to me at all.
Starks
This dude
was-
was getting such a reaction. That made no sense.
he's still getting like I watching him on Collision this past week. Like he's still getting a.
Well,
he's still
his
getting a
outfit
face
was
pop.
amazing. His outfit on Collision was
God.
amazing.
It was,
I don't know what the fuck it was.
It was like it looked.
But it was amazing.
It looked like a poorly fitting Shield vest, like a vest from the Shield.
Yeah.
And he forgot to button it in the front.
It was fucking weird.
uh,
It was fucking
Cheers.
weird.
Like-
I don't remember like any other matches from that show. I don't remember any. Like I don't remember anything. That's because they had a bunch of squash matches. Oh, Brock Anderson fought Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
what the is that a new finisher for Luchasaurus? It was not good at all.
the clothesline to the back. Yeah, it is.
No, it was like a fucking reverse choke slam
Yeah,
or some shit.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't see
Then
that.
he
I thought he.
then he genital clawed him at the same time.
What show was I watching?
This is true. Leon is right. There was a reverse choke slam with a genital claw. That is absolutely true.
Which is the technical name for it?
Genital claw. Yeah, that's.
Like, rather than like grabbing him by the belt or something like you do when it's a regular choke slam, like dude
Yeah.
straight up
Grab his dick.
like he was checking the prostate and anything else.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Leon, my question for you.
He was ringing
I have
the
a
bell
question
and
for you,
checking the
Leon.
oil.
Leon, do you prefer Dynamite or do you prefer Collision?
I like them both.
Okay, fair.
I really don't have a preference. I
Fair.
have been enjoying both of them.
Fair.
I do
like I said, I would like if both moved a little bit in the direction of the other one. Maybe Collision more than Dynamite, but
The only
I have
argument,
been enjoying everything right now.
the only
Like
argument I
this
have
last
to
week's Dynamite, I really loved. Sorry.
the only argument I have to that is that right now we've said they've managed to do something that WWE never could do. They have 2 shows that feel completely different,
Mm-hmm.
which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But
For sure.
yeah, I don't know. They might have alienated part of their fan base. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I think maybe things are feeling like they don't mean as much on Collision, if that makes sense. Like they're kind of without consequence at this point. There
They
hasn't
don't
been
have a
much really
direction.
going on.
They don't have a direction. They don't have a direction. There's like no big overarching thing. There's no shit. Like everything on Dynamite has like a place.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Khan is the one fully putting that show together, or if he's got help for that one.
Oh, it's supposed to be
I'm
Danielson. I imagine it's Punk helping him at this point because it feels very punkish.
It does.
Mm.
Let us talk about Dynamite because it was fucking amazing.
Yes. Okay, what happened to the first 30 minutes? Somebody else is going to have to fill me in. It'll be easier than
Orange
me trying to hunt
Cassidy?
it down.
Orange Cassidy fought Wheeler Yuta.
Okay.
Great match.
That's good.
Orange Cassidy continues to be that dude. Then Moxley and Claudio came out, beat the shit out of Orange. Best Friends came out, they beat the shit out of the Best Friends.
Anarchy in the arena.
The Lucha Brothers came out. They saved them, but they were still getting their ass kicked. Then Eddie Kingston came out.
I read about that.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to do an Anarchy in the Arena with Kingston, the Lucha Brothers, the Best Friends, and Orange against the Blackpool and whoever they get.
Not to be that guy, but it's Stadium Stampede.
It is Stadium Stampede. Yeah. What did I call it?
Oh, that's right. It's in a stadium, not an arena.
We talked about.
Good call. My bad.
You have mentioned this before. Eddie Kingston needs that moment. I think this could be it. He spent all of that time in Japan. He's back, and he's like the leader, like the de facto leader of these guys who have been pissed off, and he's like, let's all fucking kill the Blackpool Combat Club.
Do you know how I would have booked tonight? Do you know how I would have booked this match? I would have had Wheeler Yuta win. I would have had Moxley cost Orange Cassidy in the match. I would have had Orange Cassidy fought Moxley at All In.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would have bumped him up. This will be just as good, though.
Which, I mean, they could still do that at all.
I was so convinced. No, because it's going to be 6-on-6. They're not. They could go somewhere to make that the next match. But is Orange Cassidy going to lose this fucking belt, or is he going to hold this thing for like 8 years?
8 years.
Because like, you can't complain about it.
Longer than Bruno.
You can't complain about it because he's going to have a Roman reign. Roman Reigns. He just keeps fucking winning, but everything he does is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing. He doesn't have a bad match. Once in a while, he'll have one against somebody like. Oh god, there was one that was stupid. Was it Big Bill or was it? I don't know where he had the one by count out. Maybe it was Luchasaurus. I can't remember. Once in a while, he'll have like a match. It's like, that's stupid. But everything he does pretty much is just.
I don't think it was Big Bill. I think
they got one. They got ones where it feels like they're trying to not devalue his opponent in it. You know, let him come through still looking strong, even though they're losing to OC.
It's so reminiscent of Bret Hart's Intercontinental title run. It's just fucking perfect. Just keep going on there. Keep having amazing matches.
Banger after banger after banger after banger.
Every time you go out there, his pop is like one of the top 3 every night.
For sure.
What was after that?
Was it Kenny Omega?
Oh yeah, Kenny Omega cut the interview. He got beat up by Takeshita and the
Guns.
No, the Guns weren't there.
Club.
Guns weren't there, Leon.
Sorry, Gun Club. Sorry, Gun Club.
No, it wasn't. The Guns weren't there at all. It was
Jay White, Juice
Club.
Robinson.
Yeah, those two.
And
Takeshita, they beat the shit out of him.
Because they're setting up that.
And they set that match up. They're going to do. Then they went to Hangman by the ambulance, and they're going to do Hangman. Well, Takeshi's going to team with Bullet Club Glow to take on Hangman, Omega, and Ibushi, which will be holy fuck. That'll be amazing. What else? What else did you miss, Buck?
The first thing that I have is Jericho giving his answer to Don Callis.
That was so good. That painting was awesome.
I was. What's the phrase I'm looking for? I was pleasantly surprised by how they did that, because they swerved us, but didn't really swerve us, because both characters acted in exactly the way we should have expected them to act.
Yep, it was perfect. I don't know how stoked I am to see the Jericho match at All In. I don't know if that's like...
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a 5-star match necessarily, but that to me is more about the name, because both those guys kind of have names. I think it'll be good, but I don't think it'll be like the Omega match was.
Did they announce a match with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Later in the show, he's fighting them at the pay-per-view. They're doing the one-on-one. Ospreay Jericho is for sure happening.
Dope.
So.
Yeah, the problem is that like him and Omega, what, 5 years ago at this point, like Jericho is not the same competitor. He's still awesome. Don't get me wrong. He's still great, but he's not on the same level he was back then. And Ospreay's going up, Jericho's coming down.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Yeah, very slowly, but you are not wrong. You are not wrong.
So I'll just take over. Then
because Ospreay's going to have to slow his routine down by several levels for Jericho to keep up with him,
which he can do. I'm curious to know if
it's going to be.
Tiger Driver.
It's going to be. It's going to be way more sports entertainment-y, I think, than the one with Omega was.
Which is fine.
What was next, bud?
You think he ends up breaking out Painmaker for this one just to make it a blood and guts match? So people don't expect the high-flying spot fest thing from him? No? Oh, okay. Just curious. It was a thought.
Could be like Lionheart. I don't know. So next was Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. They defeated the Gates of Agony.
I like the Gates of Agony. I think they're going to be real good.
The Mogul Embassy is just like, mwah. Oh, they're just amazing.
But it needs to keep pushing that fucking thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they're starting to do it. Nick Wayne is really fucking good for being as young as he is. It just drives me it's almost insane to watch. Sting is 63 years old. And that promo was fucking amazing.
I can't believe he's such an insane person. Like,
so good.
He has all of these.
We'll see you in 9 days. It's not 9 days. It's 11. What? It was so great. That was so good.
Oh God.
That's gonna be a fun match. That's gonna be. It's gonna be a fun match. What if they lose? Sting hasn't really lost a match, has he?
I mean, Darby might lose. Darby has eaten the pin in the past. I think if Sting eats the pin, maybe that's like the start of him moving towards retirement. He says this is his last year. He just said it wasn't going to be at All In, which clearly it's not. Unless they have some kind of crazy swerve.
I just wonder, because I look at him and I look at how much fun he's having and I look how useful he is for them right now. And they use him the perfect way. They don't use him too much. He's like a here and here and here. When they do use him, it's very, it's protected because the guy's 63. It's really good.
It's calculated, yeah.
Except when he wants to jump off a goddamn ladder 15 feet farther than anybody would expect him to jump.
I've never done a 450 splash before, but I think I'm going to try one. No.
Don't do this, Sting. Oh, God, he's doing it.
I'm going to jump out of a plane without a parachute and land on a table. Oh. What was next?
Better Than You, Bebe promo, which was them going to Outback Steakhouse.
It's so dumb, but it's so DX at the same time. It's also... I know what these two are doing. They're sitting there saying, "Can we get this over?" if we do this, can we get this over? Because that's all they have to be fucking doing that now. The kangaroo kick was just
Jesus.
Yeah, they're just looking for the stupidest shit they can think of. Like, I bet you I can get this over.
the kicker
I
to
bet you I
this.
can get this over.
I
The
bet you I
kicker
can
to this
get them
whole
to
thing.
chant
The
pervert.
kicker to this
It's
whole
like when
thing
Rock
though
came up
was
with the fucking people's elbow.
it was so stupid. This segment was so dumb in comedy, and then they went out there and it was like, boom. And when it was time to talk about that match, they got serious fucking immediately. And those promos both were just top level promos. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do, but
I think far and away, for my money, MJF gave the better promo.
Agreed.
Like, I think Adam Cole's great, but I think also a lot of that is just like Adam Cole knows that MJF is the future. So like I think he's helping him along.
MJF is the right fucking now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is. And Roddy Piper is going to play a lot of this too, Rick, but
yeah, Roderick Piper.
Yeah. He's great. He kicked the car and broke his toe and had an ice pack on his foot. He still got on the neck brace. It's just like, oh my god. I don't know if you can't turn MJF.
No.
Can't do it. And when he turns face and embraces it a little bit, that's the guy.
I mean, I think that he has. I think he's already embracing it. Like, I think he's there.
Yeah, I would argue that he's been embracing it since the beginning.
To a degree,
of
but is it sincere?
Run.
Is it sincere?
Yeah, right.
You know?
We don't know if this is an act.
He's never going to sincerely embrace it. There's always going to be that cynical edge to him, where you believe that he's going to turn in a moment.
Which is kind of the appeal, isn't it?
He's never going to be full-on babyface.
Like when we saw...
Yeah, no.
That's what we thought about The Rock. The Rock did the same thing. He leaned into it when he first turned face. You don't remember it because you remember The Rock through wonderful goggles, and he was so great. Oh, The Rock, The Rock, The Rock, The Rock. When The Rock first turned face, it was pretty shit.
Oh, I wasn't even there when it was happening. I had no access to wrestling at that point. We didn't have cable.
He because that would have been what, 99. That was tough. He did not. He struggled at first, and then he got into the flow a little bit. I think MJF could do the same thing. But you were going to say something. What were you going to say? Nothing. Okay.
I don't know. I'm sure it was very poignant.
I know. Leon's an MJF hater. So, okay. Want Adam Cole to win, and then MJF jobs out to like, I don't know, someone I hate, Satnam Singh.
Here's what I want. I want them to keep teasing this, like, I want them to continue teasing that one guy's going to turn on the other. I want them to keep teasing that because we're just going to see it through those eyes, and we're going to keep like that. I think one big part of this character work is that we see that these guys are buddy, but we also see the tension, and we're expecting it to explode at any moment.
Have you ever seen a build?
How long can you tease that though?
Have you ever seen a build?
MJF and Adam Cole, I think, can do it.
That would be one thing, but have you ever seen a build for like a match where you're going to go in front of 80,000 people, and your main event isn't about hate? It's this. This build to this is very unique because like you can't do this. This is really fucking hard to do.
All In is also a very unique show, so I think I think that has helped them a lot. Like having Adam Cole and MJF.
But if this was WWE, it would be these two guys hate each other. Look at this big feud. We're going to go there and da 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 da. Which is wrestling. That's what you do. You have a big argument, you fight, you go and settle it. But for these guys, it's like we're friends.
The bromance of the summer.
And we've built this title match in a completely out of fucking left field way, and it has been. It's the best thing in professional wrestling right now. It's not even fucking close.
Yeah, it's just weird because it's two guys who are infinitely better as heels, fucking feuding as two faces.
It's great, and it works. That's the kicker. Is that it works.
It's so fucking weird.
Strongly agree, 100%.
But it works. But it's what match do you want to see at this pay-per-view? What's your top match? It's this. This is the one. Because this has been the story. They are telling a story, and they're not rushing it. They're taking their fucking time. It's not... Roman comes out. Roman says mean thing. Guy gets mad. Roman beats guy up. Have match at pay-per-view. Roman wins. Rinse, repeat. John Cena comes out. Big scary monster beats him up. John Cena goes to pay-per-view. Somehow wins. John Cena hero celebrating. Yay!
LOL, Cena wins.
It's new.
I mean, that's
it's
all
different.
it is.
Like, Adam Cole and MJF know how to reinvent the
But I think that's a hard part for you, Leon, because you're so used to the tropes, as we all are. We're used to tropes, so like, shit or get off the pot is great, but it's also one of those things like maybe they can fucking pull this off and we can see something we wouldn't probably see.
I think that's the thing that we struggle with a lot, all three of us, is that we come up on these storylines that are like, oh, in WWE they would do this
because we've been forced to that.
We've been conditioned to expect certain things.
That's a big part of what watching AEW has been, though. It's been like unconditioning my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was in a fucking prison camp with WWE for like 30 fucking years, and then I had to like figure out how to uncondition myself. I know that's a really weird way to put it, but the prisoner of war, the prisoner of war,
POWWE.
There you go.
I feel like I need to cut that out. That seems insensitive.
Cheer for Hulk Hogan, pal.
Do it or else.
I'm for the Hulkster. Hogan must pose.
Before we move on to the drizzling shits, I want to share a post that I read about Andre the Giant and Ultimate Warrior. Somebody had posted a clip of Ultimate Warrior essentially running down to the ring, taking his traditional lap, and then clotheslining Andre the Giant 100 times before Andre just fell over and he pinned him. And they apparently did this a bunch, like that summer or that year or whatever.
That was their house show circuit. Yeah.
And apparently Andre the Giant was so pissed off about it at one point that he just like stuck out his hand and cracked Warrior in the face. And then he calmed down. Love it.
I've heard
Keenan told that story.
Yeah, I've heard Pritchard tell it from Heenan, about how Andre was getting annoyed because he was going so fast, 100 miles an hour, and always, working stiff with him and everything, and just stuck his fist out like that, and I guess Andre just turns to Heenan like, he'll learn.
That's incredible.
I don't know if he did. They're up in heaven. They're up in heaven right now.
He did not.
They're up in heaven right now having a negative 5-star classic.
I mean, one of them might be in heaven.
One is not. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, you could really make the argument that they're both not in the good place.
What did Andre do? Andre was a giant. He was a great man.
He was a pretty cool guy. I mean, he drank people under the table.
Ask Bad News Allen and Kamala about that.
He did use some inappropriate words at times. Very true.
Yes.
Kamala pulled the fucking gun on him.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't call me that again.
For both.
Oh, dear.
Everybody liked Andre. Andre was a good guy.
Yeah.
Andre did some stupid shit. Nobody liked Warrior because Warrior was batshit crazy and up his own ass. So
yeah.
What was next?
Nobody in the business liked him when he was there, and then when he got out, got even worse.
Yeah.
When he got out, he put Santa Claus in bondage.
We're gonna move on to something slightly better than that. Watching Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy have a death match that was entirely, I am certain, like all of the weapons were sourced from Spirit. Jesus Christ.
Remember earlier when I said that Dynamite needs to move a little bit farther in the sports entertainment direction?
Not that far.
This is not what the fuck I meant. This is not what the fuck I meant.
This was so carny.
2 minutes into the match. 2 minutes into the match. You know whose voice was in my head? Yours Town. And you know what you were saying? I feel stupid for watching this. Every time that you talk about WWE, you're like, I feel stupid for having watched this. This is exactly that. Like, this was WWE to a T, and I understand.
So they got money to do it from
That's it.
the movie. Why did fucking Leatherface come out and chase Karen Jarrett away?
Are they
releasing
another Texas
It's a
Chainsaw
game.
Massacre, or what the fuck?
It's a game, right?
Yeah, the Friday the 13th people are releasing a game, which looks awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't need that shit on my wrestling program. It's
That was
so stupid.
Well, hold on, because it started off okay. It started off okay when Jarrett and Hardy were like punching each other, and then Karen Jarrett came out, and it was like, okay, well, this sucks. Then they went to dump. He dumped a random bucket of blood on them, but completely missed Karen. Then they were going through that hallway like it was a scene in a fucking horror movie, and it was like, okay, this is really cringe. And then they go in the ring and they have like
the kind of thing that comes on when you trying to convince a friend that wrestling's fun and wrestling's cool, and then that's the shit that comes on.
And you're like,
it's
not this though.
The spots in the ring were shitty. Jeff Hardy looks like everything he does hurts.
Probably.
The table swanton looked like he was gonna die. The random fucking smoke coming out from the end of the ring. Don't know why. No one explained that to me. This was basically, the only thing that I want is Satnam Singh to wear overalls every fucking week.
I'm for that.
Love it.
I'm for that.
That looked amazing. That was fucking fantastic. He looked like a Indian hillbilly farmer.
They visited the Briscoe farm, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they all wore the same thing that they wore on the Briscoe farm. Pretty certain of that. There was spooky lighting. There were weird weapons. That's it.
Leatherface came out and chased Karen Jarrett
Leatherface came out
with a chainsaw, and I'm just like, what in the fuck?
My favorite part about that was that Jeff Hardy watched the whole damn thing to the point where he forgot he was supposed to be doing a bit with Satnam Singh. And Satnam had to like turn him around to be like, dude.
Jeff Hardy was probably like, am I fucking stoned?
This is awesome.
Did I take more crack? I can't remember.
The shrooms kicked in really fast, man.
This was
a thing that happened.
Bad, but like this is when you put Jeff Jarrett on the TV. This is what you get. There's like no two ways around it.
Is there any way he wasn't the producer for that segment?
No. That was absolutely.
And that was it. Was
all in agreement.
It was just shit. How come he's not on Collision? Does he not like Punk? Does Punk not get along with him?
I mean, I don't know.
I can see them not getting along. Yeah.
They're probably
I could see it being like a mutual hatred thing of Vince and fucking Triple H and stuff, but I don't know if I've never actually heard anything about them speaking on the other.
So I've been listening to Jeff Jarrett's podcast a little bit.
Oh no.
Because I harp on him a lot because I hate him. And I stand by that because throughout my entire life of watching wrestling, he's always been the biggest fucking letdown every time. Like he gets a push and it's just like he sucks.
Yeah.
It's interesting to listen to him because he's really fucking knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he understands the current product better than a lot of the guys we listen to. I think he understands it's better than JR. I think he understands it better than just about every Pritchard understands it better than Bruce Pritchard because Bruce Pritchard stuck in 1988. Understands it better than Russo. Maybe not Tony Schiavone, but other than that, but when he talks about the stuff he did, he acts like he's such an important piece of wrestling history, and his contributions were so fucking important. And the reality of the situation is, in the mid-'90s in WWF, no one gave a shit that he was there. There's no match from that era where it's like, man, did you see that Jeff Jarrett match? It was no, there just wasn't.
Good housekeeping.
Then he came back to WCW, and he did the thing where he stole like Mongo's wife Deborah, and he wanted to be a Four Horseman. And he came in as a Ric Flair impersonator and wanted to join the Four Horsemen, and then just left and went back to WWF. And then he joined. Then he joined. His team with Owen Hart was okay. Because Owen Hart. Yep. and then he was the Intercontinental Champion, but he never really did his champion. What do you remember other than the fact that he put over China? Name one match where he was Intercontinental Champion that you remember. My God, that was a great match. Fucking name one. Go.
No, I refuse.
Can't name one.
Oh.
Then he went to WCW because Russo was there, and then Russo made him the champion, and that was whoa.
Brutal. I mean, I guess
The highlight for him.
The
highlight for him in WCW was laying down for Hogan at Bash of the Beach 2000. That's it. Like, he's not. And then he went to TNA where he was the guy. And, like, if he really was the guy when he won the championship there, like, 46 times, somebody would have gave a shit. That company always felt like a stupid Southern Territory that never got, like, it just never was a competitor.
Come on, baby.
You know, and he as champion sucked. Like, he just doesn't. And he walks around like he's fucking wrestling royalty, and he's not. He's a really good mid-card guy. If you need a guy to go out there and be a guy and do some stuff in the ring that's not super memorable, but you just need like a break in the show, get Jeff Jarrett. There you go.
Which is what this match was. Well,
terrible.
I don't know if it's going to be unforgettable, or I don't know if it's going to be forgettable. It was shitty, so I'll remember that.
But even in AEW, what has he done? Like he's done some stuff, but like, what has he done that's been super memorable in a good way? Okay, moving on. What's next, bud?
The Briscoe thing was what I was going to say before I yawned thinking about Jeff Jarrett. Dr. Britt Baker defeated the Bunny, which, personally, I think this is one of the best matches I've seen the Bunny in.
She's so far behind.
I brought her there.
She's so far behind her. Sloppy. There was a lot of sloppiness in this match. And I like Britt, and I think Britt's a star. But you have to be very careful about who you put Britt with. Because if you don't put her with the right person, this match was fine, but it was sloppy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of moments where I was like, wow, that was a really bad transition.
That's fair.
Or like, what the fuck was that? It was sloppy. It wasn't good.
She's also been out of action. I also I think part of it is just like I really enjoy her look. I really enjoy her character. I like what she does with the Butcher and the Blade. Maybe I'm just like hoping that she turns that corner and gets better in the ring too.
I think her and Penelope are huge.
Her facial expressions and
she's good.
Her character
she
work
gets
is
the
really
character
good.
work.
Yeah,
but I think her
if
and Penelope
if she could get her in ring up to that level, she'd be great.
Her and Penelope are really good, but in ring they kind of are not there yet.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you have some other women that are like, you know, Toni Storm, they're just killing it, or Sheeta.
It's true.
But what was next, bud?
The Acclaimed, who were gonna
Jamie fucking hater.
They were gonna fight a person, two people, and then they didn't because the House of Black came out instead.
They said they looked like human penises.
They sure did. They sure did.
Hairy penises. Hairy penises.
I called this one a while ago that they're going to... Mr. Ass Billy Gunn's clearly coming back. And I think they're going to win the straps at All In, and I think they should. I think it'd be a good moment for them.
And I
fully expected him to come out at the end of that when they were getting the boots put to them.
They got a week yet.
I'm sure they'll look...
I was actually kind of surprised they held off on it.
I'm not, because they're taking a slow build with this. This will be good. That'll be a fun moment. That'll be a really fun moment at Wembley. Because I think you have to put them over. I think they have to win. And it doesn't mean they have to hold those trios titles for 14 months. Like, they could lose them back in 2. But I think right now, for the story arc, they have to win.
Yeah.
For Billy Gunn. So
Billy Gunn. That's why we do this thing. All of these things. That's why I live my life is for Billy Gunn. Is that just me?
Yeah.
It might just be me.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks versus the Guns. I did not get a chance to watch this, sadly.
Solid. It was a solid match. It was pretty good.
I mean, it's the
Guns are getting good.
Bucks. Like,
the Guns are getting good. The Guns are getting good. The Guns have gone from stupid idiot tag team babyface dipshits to guys who are just trying to be heels who don't know how to do anything to a heel team that knows how to work the crowd and can actually work the match.
Two things.
So they're doing
two things that, again, read on the internet, so that makes them true. The first is that somebody commented that it feels like Jay White has a set of keys that he jingles when he wants all of their attention, because they like everybody else in that faction has kind of the like
It's all the same
himbo
thread.
vibe. We need to talk for a
The
second.
rest of Bullet Club Gold, rest of Bullet Club Gold is fully ADHD.
Yes.
Understatement of the century.
Jay's the only one who isn't.
The second
And
thing.
what was it? Bullet Club Gold holds 2 brain cells, and they both belong to Jay.
The second thing is a tweet that I think Colton Gunn put out. It was they did the circling camera thing, like they videotaped that, and Colton put at the top, insert many men, like the song Many Men, but it just looked like insert many men. Which again, the himbo vibe. And I'm just like, oh my god, I love it. I fucking love it so much. Oh.
It was a good match.
Yes,
Many,
yes.
many men wish
And
that
then-
upon me.
At the end,
Many men,
stop
many,
singing.
many men.
I like it.
You're a bad singer.
I like it better by Leon, actually. Can you record that for me, Leon? I would love that so much.
Don't ever let me hear that. Then at the end, obviously, the Bullet Club Gold came out and
They
beat the shit out of the Bucks.
no more, can't go to the sky no more.
Leon, shut up. The Bullet Club Gold came out. They beat up the Bucks. Then FTR saved them, and the FTR looked like they were going to hit the Bucks with a move. That match doesn't need any build. You just keep those 2 teams out there and
It's true.
let them go.
They're literally there.
Which they have stopped calling it Big Rig again. It's back to being the Shatter Machine.
Yeah. I think that was like
It was a good show.
It was like a month ago that they started that. Apparently, it was like a huge deal for Dax
Recently,
because
yeah.
he came up with it.
Mhm. Well,
The
they
name.
were the ones that actually wanted to change it, though. They asked, I forgot her first name, Brody Lee's widow.
Oh,
They
okay.
had actually asked her if it would be okay that they called it Big Rig in honor of Brody, I guess, way back, after it happened.
Mhm.
But for whatever reason, they decided to move it back to Shatter Machine. I don't. You probably saw the same thing I did, where I guess that he was actually pretty moved when he saw, I forget who, use it on WWE TV. Oh, the Grit couple
Oh, yeah.
used it on WWE,
Mhm.
and they called it that. I guess he got pretty emotional about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what spurred it. Now that I've talked it through.
I think you're probably right.
Hi, Town.
Yeah.
Hey, bud. Leon, how you doing? No more singing.
Bud.
No more
That's
singing.
Leon.
Many, many, many men.
Wish death on me.
Many, many, many
Oh
men.
my God, Leon!
Wish death upon me. County men.
I think I spent
County,
90% of this
county,
podcast
Wish
trying to
death
talk over
upon me.
fucking Leon and his obnoxiously loud phone microphone as he screams into it full volume.
I'm not screaming. I
All he
talk with
does.
normal person voice. I talk with normal person voice.
Sometimes
I'm not
you do.
scream.
Bud's not agreeing with you. Bud's not
No
agreeing with you.
scream. No scream.
Is there anything else relevant that we have to talk about? What's going on in the E? They are doing stuff?
I'm sure they are.
LOL, Roman wins.
Roman's hurt.
I heard. Yeah, I saw that.
He's hurt.
I don't know how badly, but the tribal combat thing he got injured in.
The show's not going to change at all.
No,
No,
Why would it?
not at all.
he doesn't have to defend his title.
Just making sure. That I'm not missing out on anything.
The issue that I'm running into right now is that because
you're
I only watch
WWE?
I only watch AEW like news videos now. So I used to like listen to WWE videos
Mhm.
like that would talk about their news and what was going on and how annoying it was. I don't even get those anymore because I still watch them. So I have no earthly idea what's going on.
So the algorithm doesn't give you anymore, huh?
Yeah, so and I'm not going to search for it. If it pops up, I'll click on it, but it's not even doing that for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly CM Punk.
They have
And,
learned your likes and your dislikes.
there's a video I've been staring at since we started because I'm on YouTube and my other screen. The worst match in Dynamite history, and it's a picture of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy,
Yep.
Leatherface.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably. But hey, that's what
Is
happens
it
when you go
worth-
to bed with Jeff
hold on.
Jarrett.
Hold on. Is it better, worse, or the same bad as that fucking zombie thing that WWE did during the lockdown with
I
the
don't think
Miz
it's
and
that bad.
fucking?
Oh my god.
It's not that bad.
It's not
So
that
it's less
bad.
bad than that.
It's
Less bad than the zombies.
What about
But
when,
that's like
what about
saying-
when Sandman fought a zombie in ECW?
He didn't. He just hit him with a kendo stick.
I mean, that's his.
Um,
That's him fighting. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Sandman's great, but he doesn't have a whole repertoire of moves.
Yeah, he's
Like
not
Russian
exactly a
leg
5-star
sweep.
classic machine here.
It was worse than the Sandman one, but better than the zombie one. Because the zombie one was the worst thing ever on a wrestling screen, ever.
Didn't both of them get dragged off by zombies too? One or both? I forget. No, Miz was, right?
Miz and John Morrison got dragged away by
I don't
zombies,
know.
so it looked like they were turned
both
into
dragged
zombies.
away? Okay.
But then the following week, they were back on TV like nothing happened.
I think that thing that you
Yes.
forced me to watch
Exactly.
was way worse. The swamp match between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman.
Oh, that was not
That
worse.
was
No,
horrible.
I disagree
Not in the
strongly.
zombie match. Not in the zombie.
No,
Okay.
no,
Leon
that
also,
zombie match is
but
so
but
bad.
time out, because Leon, you have a little bit of a hard on for Bray Wyatt stuff. So like,
Oh, I
that's
do.
not a fair
I do,
assessment.
fully admittedly, but those two aren't even in the same stratosphere. Come on now. Like the swamp match was not good. The fucking zombie match was atrocious.
I did watch parts of that. I was just like, oh god, why are you doing this?
It was bad.
Again, another example of one of those things.
So
Like,
bad.
Where would
You
it
think
go
I'm
in
stupid.
relation to? Where would it go in relation to Dog Kennel from Hell match?
which one?
The El Snow
You know,
and
I've never actually
no.
seen that match. I've only read about it and heard about it. I've never
I have
actually
watched it, and I didn't
subjected
hate it.
myself to it.
it
Felt
wasn't.
like it.
It
If
wasn't
anybody's
a
gonna
good
cause me that
feud
much pain,
ender.
it's going to be me.
It wasn't a good feud ender. That was kind of the problem
Mm-hmm.
because they were trying to. Because Bossman was like one of the best heels ever. I
The
killed your
killer
dog.
dogs.
Turn
were
it into
humping
pepper
and
steak
shitting.
and you ate it. So it's just like, what the fuck, boss man? I like Boss
I
Man.
hooked your dead dad up to the back of my truck and then drove around town with it. Like,
You're a big nasty bastard, and your dad knew that.
Jesus Christ. He was an amazing heel, but that's because he was a psychopath. And for some
He
reason
turned
nobody
face-
called the cops on
He
him.
turned face in like 1991 because Ted DiBiase did something that offended somebody's mother, and he's like, "You can't do that to somebody's mother," and then he turned face. But then later he did the same thing to Big Show. It's just like, what the fuck? No.
Yeah,
It's
he
just
was
the-
getting the idea.
He's at 11.
He's
Oh.
Wrestling character is hypocrite. New film at 11.
yeah, no shit.
Oh god.
I'm excited for All In. Next week we're gonna have to go over the All In card and kind of do our predictions, I think.
Oh Christ. Okay.
If
they
I'll
have
do
a
that.
full
I
card
just-
fucking put out by then.
They added quite a bit tonight. They
They did, yeah. I'm curious to know how much is planned for All Out at this point. They have Hobbs versus Miro.
Is that it All Out? I thought that was All In.
No, that's All Out. And then
See,
they
I
have-
think All Out's going to suffer a little bit this year.
They have Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. How was it not? We said this at the beginning of this whole summer. We're like, if you have those two shows right next to each other, one of them's gonna suffer, and it's gonna be the one that doesn't have 80,000 butts in seats. Like, it's just not gonna. I am in this moment remembering December to Dismember, like the final one that ever came on. It's probably not gonna be that bad, but like.
That might be worse than the zombie match. That was a pretty bad show.
It was I don't remember any of. I remember 0% of it.
I remember they had like Balls Mahoney and somebody fought Kelly and Mike Knox.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, whoa. And then the main event, like they had two people. They cared about Punk and they cared about RVD in the main event. They pinned Punk right away. They pinned RVD second. And the crowd just shit on it. And then Bobby Lashley was the big hero. And they took Sabu out because they wanted to put Keston or Hardcore Holly or some shit. It was the most ECW thing ever. It was pretty.
I
Pretty hard.
love Test, but he was not an easy target.
Actually, it was the last
I
four
think it
guys.
was Test.
So the guys in that match were.
Oh, that's right. It was the
Punk.
Elimination Chamber thing.
It was Punk. It was RVD. It was Bob Holly, Test, Big Show, and Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
So they got rid of Punk and they got rid of RVD because they didn't want any faces in the match. So then Lashley had to beat 3 heels because that's how you build a baby face.
Obviously.
And the crowd of ECW fans was like, "What the fuck?" And the show was like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think, because they didn't book anything. They had no card. Then they randomly had a Hardys versus Eminem match to open the show.
Oh, Eminem.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the rapper, not the...
No. Joey Mercury and Johnny, whatever the fuck. Was he Nitro back then?
Nitro.
Melina, Nitro, yeah, Eminem, yeah. And that one dude, that was the match where the guy broke his face and had to leave, so it was a 2-on-1.
Mercury
broke his face.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, because he wore a face mask for like months.
His face exploded. Exploded. That was a bad show.
Your face it explodes.
A little bit. I remember that.
But would you say that that's a worse show? Like a show like that, like going in, you knew it was gonna suck, or would you see a worse show be like WrestleMania 32, where they had all this shit and they had all these people, and then they put out an absolute fucking shit fest?
I mean WrestleMania, but I guess that's more because it would cost me a lot more money.
Yeah, and it was bad.
But
Vince probably didn't think that. Roman won. Everyone cheered on the screen that I was listening to.
It's just there's just a bunch of people behind him. They mute
Don't
the TV and then they all
the
cheer.
real audio feed. Whatever you do.
Do you fucking remember that though? I don't know if you watched 32, Leon. I know you did. When the music hits and Roman's music hits, he walks through the curtains and it's just boo, boo. So it just goes like that, and it's pure quiet. And then Michael Cole's like, "Listen to the response. They're on their feet cheering for Roman Reigns." It's like, wait, no, they were.
People flipping the bird.
No, they were.
Which main event was that? Who's he main eventing against?
Trips.
Oh God.
I think I saw that one actually.
Fucking bad.
There was one like random WrestleMania that I watched.
It's been blanked from my fucking memory. Jesus.
That was the WrestleMania where AJ Styles came in, was the hottest thing they had. He lost to Chris Jericho. Shinsuke won the Royal Rumble, lost. Or no, that was a different. Was that year? No, Shinsuke wasn't there yet. That was the following year. Or was that year? No, that was that year because Shinsuke lost to. No, it was the following year because Jericho did beat AJ Styles.
Yeah, because when he lost by punching him in the dick.
That wasn't that year though, because that year Triple H won the Rumble. I think that was the following year, where they had Shinsuke win the Rumble, and then he lost to AJ Styles at Mania for no reason. But they had a bunch of weird things like WrestleMania is when the good guy's supposed to win, and like the crowd's supposed to be happy, and like all the fucking bad guys won. And I know what they were trying to do. I watched it with Rainville, and that WrestleMania started at 4:00. And it got done at 11:45.
Just fuck that.
And it was all it was terrible. But what they wanted to do was they wanted you to be happy that one babyface won and it was Roman. So they absolutely cannibalized their whole WrestleMania for one guy, and it didn't work.
Good job, Vince.
That's just like
weird.
But he had no reason.
Almost like they haven't learned a goddamn thing since then.
He had no reason to not do that though, because there was no competition.
Austin Theory is the next Roman Reigns. Prove me wrong.
Hey, he's in the top 10. Oh my God, that's what I saw today. Logan Paul went on his little show he has and was bitching about the 30 for 30.
Mm-hmm.
How can I not be higher in the top 30? I'm in the biggest wrestling company. WWE is the greatest wrestling company with the most talent. We've got the best young stars. How can I not be number one? Well, guess who responded to him on Twitter?
MJF. Yeah, I saw this.
Oh, fucking MJF, and it was just brutal.
He's like, I'm a big fan.
Oh, my God. Huge fan. Just the most asshole-ish fuck you return that was just pure snark. And then he's like, I'm even drinking one of your whatever the fuck he has.
I'm sipping one of your primes right now.
Yeah. I'll come on your show. We can talk about it. Just as long as Big Nick, or was it Big Nick or whatever the hell he said? Let's come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask your boss.
Like,
oh, God. I loved it.
MJF is great. How much would they pay him to come over?
Lots.
And he would be the best thing on WWE TV instantly.
Would he though?
And
like, would they? Because he was made in AEW, and we know how Vince treats guys who were made somewhere else. He's either going to try and reprogram him, or he's just going to shit on him.
A terrible stereotypical Jewish name, right?
Oh God, yes. Let's just recycle Scotty Goldman.
Scotty
Goldman the second.
Like he's not going to be MJF.
No.
We can't call you that, pal.
That is not nearly ethnic or religious enough.
Now, if he hired Hangman, he'd keep him with the cowboy gimmick, but he'd like lean a little heavier into it, like have him ride a horse to the ring and dress like a cowboy and
be a little less
talk
gay.
like a cowboy.
He'd be a little less gay.
He'd be way more cowboy-y.
Yeah.
Talk about your ranch. Here, have a lasso. Kind of want it to happen now.
Or he would go the opposite direction, and he would do like
all over your gear.
He would do like Howdy Doody, like he'd do his own version of Howdy Doody because kids love Howdy Doody.
Hey, if you gave Hangman a wooden puppet, it worked for the Legion of Doom, no matter what you say.
You give him one of those guns that when you shoot it, the little stick comes out and it says bang. Like what they used for Austin.
Well, you couldn't call him Hangman Adam Page. You'd have to call him like Cowboy Joe or something really.
Bang Boy.
No.
Brosif. Jeans.
Yeah, I don't think they want young fans typing Bang Boy into their search bars.
Why? I don't know why. I'm gonna look it up.
I mean, I've been on the internet way too long to even contemplate that.
I'm trying to think of a good cowboy name. Like Cowboy Joe Horseman or some shit like that. Just something really fucking stupid.
Slim Horseman.
Leather. All the names I'm coming up with are just game. Are just gay. Can't come up with anything else.
Cowberg.
Chaps McGee.
Chaps McGee. Cowboy Chaps McGee. Holy shit, that's it, Leon.
That's it. You nailed it.
He's got a fucking lasso that he can't use. Comes to the ring. Weedy doggies! We're going to have ourselves a rodeo. I'm going to go on the open plains.
Spins it as well as Johnny Ace fucking rode his skateboard.
They just had a girl in NXT that did the same fucking thing, though.
Yeah.
They gave her a skateboard. And their logic there was, well, that Darby Allin has a skateboard. You take a skateboard. You'll be just as popular as him.
Was that Indy Hartwell? Or
it might have been.
Else? I don't know.
But she couldn't ride it.
Yeah.
Just like they looked at Orange Cassidy and said, well, he's popular. Let's make that one sleepy. I don't know her name. Just make her sleepy.
I think
then she'll wake up and wrestle good.
I think that person on TEW, they're like the Real World Chronicles or whatever. Her profile picture has the sleeping mask over her eye, like up above on her forehead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's her. Oh, okay.
That's what NXT did for a period of time. Like they just jacked everything the AEW did. You know. I'm surprised they don't have a tag team called the Young Ducks.
Oh, good lord.
Donnie Alpha.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Ducks.
Hey. We looked at the Toxic Turtles last time. That was epic. Whatever the hell we did that.
My god.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I feel so dumb.
So, WWF. My hope is that they're better, but they're not. AEW is, though, so that's fine.
Do something with Collision. That's all I want.
Yeah, please.
Let's get a little direction. Let's get some shit going on.
Make it a women's show. Make it a women's show. Make it a women's show.
That'd be good.
Like, stop giving them one match per card. Just, Tony, listen to me. Tony, what the fuck?
He's too busy cheering for CM Punk, sorry.
We've already gone an hour and a half. I think that this can be an argument for another time. Not an argument. I think you guys agree with me. Let's call it. I've been
Outro.
Bud Robinson. This has been Leon Robinson and Town Robinson. We've all been talking shit about WWE.
Time out. I've changed my name
Okay.
to Cowboy Chaps McGee.
Done. Bud Robinson, Leon Robinson, and Chaps McGee.
Cowboy
Signing
Chaps
out.
McGee.
Cowboy Chaps McGee. I'm so sorry.